Hello, Canvas fam. We are live once again. It is about 10 o'clock, give or take a minute or two. I was getting to know these fantastic ladies we have in the live stream today. Dr. David Timms, we know who he is. He's been here before, here at 9 o'clock with us from Johnson City Schools. They are doing some really fantastic work in Canvas, and we're highlighting them all day today in a what I would call a non-traditional setting. That's probably not the correct term, but we talked to counselors this morning at 9 a.m., and now we get an opportunity to meet Marcia, Kayla, and Hilary on Viva Canvas, a world language extravaganza on how they are using Canvas in their world language class. Guys, I'm going to tell you right away, they're overachievers because I've already seen the presentation. This session, if you are in world language or you know someone in world language, you need to like, subscribe, share, send it out to every platform that you have access to, because this session is going to be mucho crazy. That's the only Spanish I got. These ladies are like, that joke wears on us all day. And the kids,
so Eddie, I just want to say before they get started, last summer, Hilary and Kayla reached out. They got, we have a 2,300 student high school, and we offer several world languages. We couldn't showcase them all today. They had their own private requested day of Canvas training just for the world language department.
Let's go.
That's how invested this world language department is in using Canvas.
I love it.
I am so excited to see them showcase today.
Yeah, and I mean, I think they're pretty fired up. Marcia, though, we may need to get her a coffee or something. She's ready to go. Guys, I'm just going to let you take it away. We're going to start with Marcia, and I'm so excited to see your session, and I'll be here in the back end. We'll see all the comments come through. This is, if you are world language, you're Spanish, any other type of world language, this is going to be the session for you. So definitely take it away, Marcia.
Well, Viva Canvas, or long live Canvas. We are leveraging Canvas features in a world language classroom to build and assess reading, writing, speaking, and listening skills. When we first learned that we would be teaching Spanish online, it was a daunting challenge. Not only was it intimidating, formidable, and disconcerting, but it was unsettling and unnerving. I took the same class 3 different times last summer in order to learn how to create buttons, record and upload media, insert external links, and upload images. Through tons of collaboration, not only with other world language teachers, but also with teachers from other disciplines, we slowly began to comfortably function with Canvas. Through experimentation and trial and error, we have come across some ways that we can use the tools within Canvas to mimic what we used to do in the traditional classroom and bring it into a virtual world. I am Marcia Torbett. My colleagues are Hilary Delgado and Kayla Jimenez. We are all in different places in our careers, and we teach everything from Spanish 1 to AP Spanish. Even though we have our own experiences, we really complement each other in both our pedagogy and our technology. Hilary is the youngest of us. She has only been teaching 4 years, but she is definitely the most techie of us. Kayla has been teaching 10 years with tremendous technological success. And while I have been teaching 29 years, I am living proof that you can teach old dogs new tricks. We have thoroughly enjoyed doing what we do. And at Science Hill, we do serve a large population. The World Language Department is made up of 6 Spanish teachers, 2 French teachers, and 1 Latin teacher. Kayla, you're next.
Marcia, before we let you off the hook, that was fantastic. I love the old dog new tricks. In fact, again, Marcus is contractually obligated to be a part of the live stream. He's not, but he's always here, which I love. Great support. He says, I love the vulnerability right out of the gate. We've got to own it to be genuine with our students. And I think a lot of people can take that home from what we just heard from you. So thank you for being here on the live stream. That was fantastic.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
All right. Hello. So I'm Kayla Jimenez, and I'm just really excited to talk to you all today about how I've used Canvas really for my students to have better success in foreign language. I was a Canvas user before we went all virtual, so I had a little experience. However, I really didn't use Canvas to its full potential. So that's something I've really been able to do, and I'm excited about that. And just like Marcia was telling you, I also attended many trainings and had endless collaboration sessions, especially with Hilary. She's taught me a lot as well. To really utilize it better for the benefit of my students. So one of the most exciting things is the Canvas integration. This is something that I use a lot in my classroom. And the Canvas integration with Google and with Kami is what I consider tech love. Okay, that's my tech heart. Through this, I don't have to direct students to multiple pages. I don't have to give them multiple steps. I can do everything within Canvas. So I'm putting the instructions in Canvas. I'm uploading the assignment in Canvas. Students access it right there in Canvas. They can save it to their drive and they turn it in through Canvas and I go in and grade it. So I don't have to go all over the place to get, you know, a lot of the reading analysis complete that I would normally do in my classroom. I can still do the same thing. So it's a lot less confusion and there's a lot more success of navigation through this. Reading is one of those skills that we really kind of hone in on in Spanish 1 and 2, because students are going to understand reading a little better than they're going to be able to produce. So instead of speaking, reading is one of the first skills. So something that I did before, we talked about how we did the then to now, here to there. Here's a picture of what I used to do, old school me, okay, versus new and improved me. So, you know, taking a piece of paper, making the copies, getting highlighters, versus now I can just upload this straight into Canvas via Google, and they can use Kami to highlight the same text. So what I want to do is show you a couple of examples of some student work and what it looks like and kind of what the objectives were. So in this example here, we see lots of different colors. I love using lots of different colors. So if I can get them to do it on screen too, that's fabulous. So we do pink, yellow, red, blue, and they have different things they're identifying. It could be vocabulary words. It could be grammatical context. It could be, you know, just phrases. I'm looking for them to really get into the text and analyze, and sometimes even just recognize certain aspects of the language that I want them to do. In this example, they're doing a similar activity, only now we've kind of advanced and we're analyzing text as far as what are conjugated verbs versus infinitive verbs. So I can ask them to just identify those, and I can also give them, like you see over here in the box, answer the following about the passage. I give that to them in English so that they're not just simply identifying a word and then like regurgitating some information after it, but they really have to understand and comprehend what the text is saying. But I ask them, and this is so easy to do on the Canvas page through Kami, is to actually tell what is their information or their citation from the text. How do they know that's the correct answer? So I'm doing so many analysis things right here in this page that I can go in and make sure that they did well with it, that they really grasp and understand what they are reading. Here's one more example. I think this is the most recent one. This is just in our last unit. We did present tense versus preterite tense. So now my students are really excited because now they're actually learning how to talk in the past. So I told them you've doubled what you can say now in the language. So what is the past tense verb? What is the present tense verb? And then I've given them again, just, you know, true and false that they can do. So again, the ease with which we can manipulate these activities, it's not passing out paper every time I want to do it, rustling up highlighters. You're really saving instructional time by doing this. And then it saves me a ton of time when I go back in, you know, to grade it and just verify that they're analyzing text well. So this is just some of the reading I would do with like a Spanish 1 or 2 course.
So Kayla, just real quick, I know that we dove into all these tools and bought all these tools as part of the pandemic because we didn't have students at school. Now that we're back 100% in person, will this continue to be the way you approach instruction?
Yes, and because for me, and I'll kind of get to it when I talk a little about the heritage and the writing, for me, this has really just saved like a clutter on my desk and the mess. Like I try to be really organized, but it doesn't always work. So I have stacks of, you know, paper that look really pretty because they have all these colors, but this is the way I'm going to keep going right down this route because, you know, and the kids, if they want to go back to it, they don't have to go look in their backpack. Oh, where is that analysis sheet? You know, they can open their Google Drive. They can go back into Canvas where they uploaded it and it's still all there for them. So it makes my life easier and it makes the students' life easier as well. So it's a win-win, really. So I'll continue to use this for sure.
Kayla, I love the integration piece is so important. You're showing off, Cami and Google Drive and those types of things. What does it mean to you as an educator that students aren't having to go to 900 different platforms to find things? Because the one screenshot you had is like, this is all baked in, right? This is not something that students are having to, search or hunt or have different logins. Right. Talk a little bit about how that's made your process maybe a little easier.
Well, I don't think I realized how impactful it was to send kids to a million different places until we did have to shut down for the pandemic. And, I thought I was doing things well until I realized I wasn't doing things well. And, it's like, hey, how many places are you sending your students in one class period? And it's like, oh no, I'm sending them to too many places. They're getting lost in, all these different websites or these different steps that I would have for them. So really, to be able to incorporate everything into one page, I really can't speak enough on how that helps the student, because they can stay more focused on the task at hand rather than worrying about where are they going next? What do they have to do next? It's all right there. My instructions are there. The assignment is there. The submit button is there. It's done. So everything is there just within that one place. It's really been a game changer, honestly, for how I would do a lot of these reading activities and writing activities too, which I'll get to, but definitely the reading. And something else, like on this slide, what I'm showing is how I can incorporate instruction. So we are a school with one-to-one, so all of our students have the same device. So they have the same access, but unfortunately, not all students have the same experience with the tech tools we're giving them, just like us as teachers, right? We had to learn a lot. So we're also trying to teach some of our students how to navigate technology a little better as well. So another thing I really love about Canvas is in this assignment page, I give them their instructions and I can put in icons and pictures and show them, this is exactly what it looks like. This is what you click. This is how you go. And this example comes from the Heritage Spanish class. So a lot of my native Spanish speakers in the class, a few of them had very limited experience with technology. And I was able to really help guide them through learning technology as well as learning the language. And that's something else that I wouldn't really be able to duplicate in a classroom. I'm a terrible drawer. So if I were to try to draw these icons on the board, it would be a disaster. My students ridicule me a lot when I try to draw things. So thank goodness Canvas allows me to insert all these pictures and icons so my kids know what I want them to do.
Hey, as a former educator, you didn't want to see my United States of America or the state of Indiana. It was just, they were boxes, right?
Oh yeah, exactly. So this takes a lot of stress off my back too.
For sure.
And so in this example, I'm giving them instructions, I'm giving them guidance right there in Canvas, exactly what they need to see. And so for them, here's an example of another, it's integrated straight through Canvas. This was a little more complex because for my heritage speakers, we are not just trying to identify vocabulary words. We're trying to make connections. So this activity actually came from a song. And in the song, we took apart the lyrics because the lyrics of the song represented different aspects of Latin American culture. So we're looking for geographic references about weather, literary references, historic, sports, everything. And they had to match up the line of the song with what cultural reference, went with it. And I asked them to identify keywords. Okay, well, what are keywords that helped you, guide you, since you don't know yet about Machu Picchu, maybe. You don't know yet about the Atacama Desert. How did you know that's where it went? So they're looking for, keywords within there. With writing, for my Spanish 1 and 2, we keep writing, pretty small and very guided and very structured. But one thing that I love about Canvas is that I can utilize this to do just a quick reflection, some kind of short feedback for me, a reflection on a reading, an opinion question. And again, it's right here. So I just use the assignment feature in Canvas. And all I have to do is put in some instructions. Like this was simply, hey, what did you do during your Christmas break? How did you feel last semester went for you? And what are 3 goals you want to set for yourself for the new semester? And instead of, taking out paper and passing it around and then getting that, it's all in here. So they can just do a simple write-up. Again, that's saving me time. And honestly, I used to have my students do this in composition books. I had 30 students in this class last year. And so on the weekend, I would take a bag and fill it up with my 30 composition books, go home, open them individually and grade, haul them back to school. So I can't tell you how much stress this has taken off of me as well to just say, oh, we're going to do a quick writing. open up a Canvas assignment, type in my instructions, and they go for it. And I can just give them quick feedback on here as well. So, and this again is just the assignment feature in Canvas, and I just use the text entry option. If they wanted to integrate something like, you know, a Google Doc or a Google Slide, they can when we do presentations, but I rely a lot just on the text entry. Very simple, quick, easy for me to grade, easy for them to write, and I can give them quicker feedback than waiting for the weekend to take home the composition books and give them all their feedback at one time. I think they'll really respect the feedback better when it's given to them in short bits. And that's just another example too of how they did a little research right here in Canvas in the text feature. So reading and writing for me are two things that I really rely heavily on, and especially now having the kids back in the classroom, these are two areas with which I can still rely heavily on. So I know Hilary's going to speak more to the presentation element and the speaking. And for me now, speaking, we can do that in the classroom more, but the reading analysis and the writing, that's something that I'm going to definitely continue to work through with Canvas, because we benefited a lot from it, me and the students. Yeah.
Woo! If you don't have a book full of notes after that session, David, big 2 thumbs up from Dr. Timms. That was awesome. That was
Thank
fantastic.
you. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, Kayla. We really appreciate it. Yeah, this is so good.
Oh, thank you. All right, so Hilary is going to finish. We saved the best for last, so here comes Hilary. All right, thank you all.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Hilary Delgado, and just a little bit of background. This year, I have been a fully remote online Spanish 1 and 2 teacher. So my classroom has literally lived inside of Canvas since August. And so as Marcia alluded to, this year has been challenging in a lot of ways for everybody. But that challenge has really pushed us to really integrate and be innovative with the tools that are at our disposal in a way that really recreates the things that we know are effective strategies to use in the classroom. And one of those is our listening practice and assessment for students. Typically speaking, in a foreign language classroom, you'll either recite a passage to students so they can do some listening comprehension or play a recording for them. But I wanted to find a way to do that was a little bit more, streamlined, just like Kayla found with writing with Cami and things like that. So the way that I found to make this very streamlined is using Canvas quizzes to either build a quiz for an assessment or just use it as an assignment tool and embed audio files for students to then listen to. And then I'm able to evaluate their listening skills based on that. So here you see a few different examples of types of Canvas quiz questions that are assessing and building listening skills for students. The multiple choice question up at the top is a very basic listening question. You've got a 6-second audio file embedded in there, and students are looking for an isolated vocabulary word. They're saying, what did the speaker speak about? And they're choosing from that list of options there. You'll see that the answer selections are in English, because with this particular question, I'm looking for comprehension. Were they able to listen to a little excerpt and identify what was being spoken about? Typically speaking, early on, maybe in Spanish 1, those answer options would be in Spanish, because at that point, we're still learning how to pronounce words, how to recognize words, and what is being said. So what's really cool with this is that you have the option to really vary what you're assessing and what skills you're looking for. If you look at the multiple answer example here, this is a little bit more complex, right? The audio is 29 seconds as opposed to 6 seconds. So students are actually listening for a longer time and a more extended period. And it's asking them to identify what topics the speaker addresses. So it's talking about extracurricular activities that she participates in. So which ones does she mention? Which ones does she talk about? Which one does she not? So students are able to listen through and identify those. Of course, this would be the answers would be mixed up, and they would be all the right ones and then the ones that they didn't talk about at the end. But that's just the answer key here, of course. So, and what's great is also you have the option to do ordering. So that last example here, again, a little bit longer audio file, 28 seconds for this one. And they're listening to, as Martha, right? Martha, right? She's talking about how she gets ready for a special event. And students actually click and drag those different steps into the correct order of what she does in order to prepare herself. So there's a lot of great features within Canvas quizzes that you can really use in different formats and different ways, depending on what you want to address, what you want to assess, and what you want students to practice.
Hilary, I'm jumping in here because we just got a comment from Carrie Painter, maybe related to Marcus Painter. I think this would be a great platform to use with ELLs, especially recording the audio so students can hear how the words are pronounced correctly. Do you have any other ideas for possibly ELLs and using Canvas in this way? I love this.
No, I think that's a great idea because what's also awesome with this is students can press play as many times as they want. So that really creates it to be individualized and differentiated so that, you know, a student who has a higher level, they can listen to it a couple times and move on. Those students that really want that extra practice and want to hear how the correct way to spell or to pronounce a word, English or Spanish, you know, they have that opportunity to listen to it as many times as they would like. And then you can always also find ways to embed, and we'll talk about this a little bit, of them to then show off how they are able to pronounce after practicing along the recording as well. Yeah.
And Eddie, just as an aside, we're an 8,000 student district, but we do have a high percentage of EL students. We have 17 EL teachers in our district, and that could be a whole other live stream about how that specific group has harnessed Canvas as well. So yeah, we've gone down that path as well.
So the next thing that I want to talk about is a way that we found to build and assess student speaking and writing skills. So a large portion of our in-person classes has been presentations in a foreign language. So that helps us to help students build their speaking skills and their writing skills as they prepare and then rehearse and give their presentations. And I was really eager to find a way to do this with an online classroom. I said, how am I going to set this up that's effective and good for the students and I can easily grade and we're not spending hours on Zoom doing presentations. And so what I've found has been a really effective way to do this is using the Canvas and Google assignment integration and then having students present and record using Canvas Studio. And once all of that is built in, I can build a rubric in Canvas rubrics alongside that assignment to efficiently and effectively grade what they submit to me. And so how I usually start that up is I create a template for students if I want them to do a certain project. For example, this one, students were creating their ideal house, mi casa ideal. So when you build one of these, of course, you integrate Google assignment into your Canvas assignment, and each student would then get their own copy of this Google presentation. And so they're then able to go in and edit it and create it and exactly how they want it to look. And so I build it out for students to then have the instructions right there inside the presentation as well, so they can go back and know what their requirements are, along with some sentence frames and examples for them to build off of. You'll see the third slide on the top is just a basic example of a house floor plan for students to kind of look at how they can use the tools within the Google Slides and use images and things like that to really create their own ideal home. The next two slides, students build out their two floors because that was a requirement for this particular project. And on that last slide, they are writing to talk about their actual house that they built. So there's 4 different questions that I want them to answer, and they're able to type out and write their answers to those questions in preparation for their presentation. So once students do that, this is a really great example of what they would submit to me. You'll see here that her title slide has her outside of her house is so beautiful, right? So her ideal house is gorgeous. And she built out the floor plans here. She has her main level and then her second floor. And her sentences here are what she would have submitted to me. And then as you can see here, that last step of her part of this presentation is to then record in Canvas Studio. The screen capture option within Studio is absolutely wonderful for this. Students are able to share their presentation that they built, talk about it, and then you'll be able to see them as well, much like you would in a traditional classroom where a student's presenting on a board and in front of the class. So I'm going to go ahead and play a short snippet of this one for you so you can kind of see what that looks like in action.
Mi casa está en Los Ángeles. Mi casa es muy bonita, grande y tiene muchos cuartos para pasar tiempo con amigos.
I have a few other examples here of similar projects, and I wanted to show a few different examples to really show that students have a lot of choice and opportunities for creativity and sharing their personality and their preferences when they're doing this. In this example up here, she built out her floor plan, and you can see that, and her picture of her here as well. And in these two examples, we have their ideal bedroom. So in addition to building their ideal house in the same unit, they built out their ideal bedroom, and they talked about the items in their bedroom and where they were located. So I'll go ahead and play one example of that for you all. They talked about location as well as their the colors of the items in their room.
La cómoda negra está lejos del armario marrón.
And what I like about these is students often would also use their cursor to show what they're talking about. You know, they're saying, hey, the dresser over here is far from the closet, etc. So they're able to demonstrate that they know what they're saying and demonstrate their ability to communicate and present. I have a couple other examples here, again, of student choice and creativity. There's lots of options. You can build out a specific visual that you want students to use while they're presenting. And sometimes I leave the parameters a little bit more open for students. So they're able to then say, okay, if you want to use a visual to help support you while you're presenting, you can do that. And in this first example, you see that the student has just opened up a Google Doc, copied and pasted images related to what he wants to present, and shared those as he's presenting. And in this example, the student has chosen not to use a visual, which was totally fine, because he was able to still show meet the requirements and show his presentation skills and ability doing that. So I'll go ahead and play a couple of these for you guys.
En la clase de español tengo que hacer proyectos.
En la clase de inglés tengo que dar un discurso. So in one more example, lots of videos for you guys, but I really love showing what my students have been able to come up with within these tools. In this particular presentation, students were asked to tell and act out their morning routine to get ready for school each day. And so they were able to come up with some really good examples of how to do that. Again, lots of student choice and creativity for how to do that. I'm going to show you guys the first two, and then I've got a really great one to show you at the end.
Más tarde, yo me arreglo el pelo con el cepillo. Primero yo me despierto a las 8:30 de la mañana.
Speak, and then again, students are able to speak and act out, so you're showing that they know what they're saying and that what they are communicating. Some students really take it to the next level with creativity, and it's been really, really wonderful to get to know students through these opportunities to hear them speak and hear them present and show their creative side. This student took acting out to another level, and I just want to share with you the amazing things that she was able to create.
Normalmente por la mañana me despierto muy lentamente. Segundo, me visto con un vestido. Entonces me pongo el desodorante rápidamente. Más tarde me cepillo el pelo a las 9. Por fin me lavo la cara bien y luego seco con una toalla.
So again, great opportunities for students to really show their creativity, their personality, their preferences, as well as their language acquisition and proficiency. So
Hilary, quick question.
Yeah.
I get an email or two every week from administrators in other districts asking if Canvas Studio is worth purchasing and adding on to Canvas. What would you say?
Yes, 100%, yes.
I'm not just the man telling you what to do, right? Because again, a lot of people say, well, you have to say that. No, I will tell you as a customer, when it came up in the contract, when we were deciding on purchasing Canvas for our district, no brainer. Right? I think it was like, yeah, we're doing that, right? Because in especially here, because these are all happening, you didn't need an extra tool, you didn't need an extra piece of equipment. Students were having to learn how to create videos, although the person on the end probably could have really put something together had they had the option or access to that. But they're just doing this in studio, correct?
Yes. Yes, all in studio. And what's great about that is I'm able to build it all in an assignment, say media upload, and as soon as students click submit, it opens up that video recording option for them. Of course, they can go into studio on their own if they want to create and do different things, but it's all housed, like Kayla was saying, it's all housed in that one spot, in that one assignment. I can give them all the instructions, I can give them examples and sentence frames, whatever they need. And at the very end, they click submit, and it's right there, they record, and it's done. It's just extremely streamlined and efficient. And one other thing to point out with the benefits of studio is that traditionally students would prepare a presentation, rehearse it, and they get up in front of the class and present it to everybody, and that's their one shot. There is definitely merit in that, and I definitely believe in that. But the opportunity with Canvas also is that students can prepare as many times as they need. They can get it down, they can make sure that they're set, they know how they're pronouncing things, they can re-watch it to see what they said and see how they felt about what they presented and make any changes based on that. So what you end up getting is really their final product, which is their best version. So you really are giving them the chance to excel and show what they're able to do at a very high level. Yeah. So after students submit, okay, we all know we have to evaluate, of course, the wonderful, wonderful work that they have submitted to us. And Canvas rubrics within the Canvas Speed Grader has been an absolute lifesaver for me throughout these past several months. And here you'll see an example of that. When you're grading, it's really wonderful because you can see both the student's audio file as well as the rubric that you create. And the rubric is really wonderful because you have so much flexibility, and I'll talk about that here in just a second. But I really wanted to focus on the ease of grading when it comes to that, using SpeedGrader and Canvas Studio. So students you're able to watch their video, analyze what they're doing. You simply click what value of the rating for each of the criteria, or you can write in a unique value for that. And then you're also able to go back and listen multiple times, say, I think they meant that requirement. I believe they said that correctly, but let me go back and watch it one more time. So I get to give them a really accurate, fair evaluation of their presentation, and because I can go back and see it and it's all archived there for you. And here's an example of a little bit bigger rubric. It's a full one out. Of course, you have the ability to create as many criteria, or as minimal criteria as you would like to assess. Sometimes I have just 2 things that I'm looking for on the presentation. In this case, it was a larger presentation with 6 different criteria. But you do have that opportunity to look at that, to kind of assess that, what you want to assess, evaluate what you want to assess. And what's really awesome about this as well is once you create a rubric and you attach it to that assignment, students can see that exact rubric right there. You don't have to do anything extra, you just build it out. And so as students are preparing and getting ready to submit, they can evaluate and prepare and self-assess before they submit it to you. Did I meet that requirement? Where am I at? Where am I weaker? Where am I stronger? What do I need to kind of tweak and change before I submit my presentation? And then what's also wonderful is that each of these rubrics is then stored, and you can name them. As you can see up here, it says presentation 2A because that was from that unit. It's stored. So I can always use it for that same assignment. But let's say, for example, you give a similar presentation each week, as students have to give a different presentation each week or every 2 weeks, and you want to use the same rubric because you're looking for the same thing. You can reattach that same rubric without having to create something new, which gives a lot of ease and time saving as well. All right. That's all for me. Oh.
Wow, that was an abrupt end. Sorry, I was not prepared for that at all.
Marcia's going to take it away and conclude it. So
yes, I love it. Let's bring back Marcia, a fan favorite.
Here she comes.
Bring her back. Hilary, that was great. We really appreciate it. Tons of comments coming in. Obviously, this one, tons of JCS teachers have shared that Studio is an EDU game changer. We love to see it. We really love to see it. And I'm so happy that Marcia is back. Marcia, what do you got for us?
Well, as you can see, we have been able to use Canvas to enhance our world language classrooms. Obviously, both of these girls have done wonders with it and been passed on. They share everything with me, which is great. We obviously used Canvas some in the past in the physical classroom, but nothing like the way we use it today. The journey this past year has taught us that Canvas has a full line of robust tools that we are able to use. And in using those, we have found that we are able to further improve the quality of the education that we're giving the kids in the classroom, and make it accessible virtually as well. So we say to you, Viva Canvas. Thank you.
I love it so much. Thank you guys for presenting today. This has been David. This turning out, Dr. Tim.
I told you they're awesome.
One of these days, right? We are just hammering the live streams with Johnson City Schools. Marcia, Kayla, Hilary, thank you so much for presenting to us today and being a part of the live stream. Here they come into frame. I love it. Get your masks on. We really do appreciate you. The chat, the comments have been going absolutely crazy. Thank you, thank you, thank you for this fantastic session. We can't wait to see you again, 11 o'clock. This is my quiz for Dr. Tim's every time. We have PE and Wellness, right? PE and Wellness. Coming up in about 20 minutes. So if you're hanging with us today, tons of live streams. We have Johnson City Schools at 11. We'll have them again at 2. And then sandwiched in there is our partner live stream with Crystal Delta, and Lori. It's going to be a fantastic session as well. So stick with us all day today on the Canvas live streams. We hope you enjoyed this one. We can't wait to see you on the next.